Sorry about that. My camera cut out, but what I was saying is when you scratch it, you'll see a line on here, but it'll be a line of your fingernail dust. The mineral is harder than your fingernail, so you think that the mineral has a hardness of 2.5, which is the hardness of your fingernail or less, because you see a line on here, and to the inexperienced student, you'll think, well, it's scratched, so this one must be a very soft mineral, when in reality, it's much harder than that. So how you can solve that problem is to scratch it with your nail, and if you see something on here, take your finger and wipe it away and see if it comes off, because if it comes off onto your thumb, then you just have wiped away your fingernail dust and you didn't actually scratch the mineral. The next step up from there is actually to take a penny and see if the mineral will scratch the penny. So this is a copper penny. Some of them are made of zinc. They're pretty similar in hardness, but you'll scratch the mineral onto the penny, or sometimes you can take the penny and try to scratch it onto the mineral. Same thing applies. You get a line on here, try to wipe it away and see if it comes off. This one doesn't look like the penny is doing much to it, so I think this mineral is harder than a penny. So then we can move up to some more tools. We have a nail here, we have glass. You can see if the nail will do anything to it. This nail does appear to be scratching the mineral. You can see a small scratch on here. Glass, we can see if the mineral scratches glass. I see line on here. Same thing, I want to try to wipe it away. It's not wiping away, so this mineral is stronger than the piece of glass. It is, it seems like it's stronger. It seems like the nail might be stronger than the mineral. So we have a little bit of, sorting out to do at that point. Using the hardness scale that I showed you, or the one that's given to you by your teacher, to figure out where does this fall. So at this point, if this were the case, if the nail actually scratched it and it scratched the glass, I could say that the hardness of the glass is less than the hardness of the mineral, and that the nail is harder than the mineral, if in fact the nail had scratched it. So this would lie somewhere in between these, and that's how we can figure out hardness, which can be another identifying feature. Another thing you can do too is what we call streak the mineral. So you can take this is a porcelain plate. You can see some little scratches on here, streaks on here. People have tried to use this equipment before. I certainly have. But what I'll do is I'll take the mineral and I will wipe it on there and see what color dust it leaves behind, because some minerals can be the same color. I'm sorry, some minerals can be different colors, like this one here. This quartz mineral can be any color in the rainbow, really. This one happens to be pink. You can find ones that are teal, clear, dark gray, brown, but all quartz will leave a white streak on a streak plate. Doesn't matter what color it is, it'll leave a white streak on a streak plate. And sometimes color is a good way to identify them. I don't have a piece of sulfur right here, but I can show you from the internet that sulfur has this characteristic. I think when you see it, you'll recognize it here. So sulfur has this very characteristic shade of yellow to it. So if you're handed a piece of sulfur and you're asked to identify it, I mean, you can do all the tests that we're showing you, but sometimes just the best thing to do is to look at it and say, this thing looks just like a piece of sulfur. And you can certainly do the other tests to verify it, but chances are you may very well be right just because it looks so much like sulfur. But going back to this one again, and even some of these other ones, they may be different colors and even different shades. Like this one here usually looks like this, but I've seen some ones that are darker. I've seen some ones that are a little more brassy yellow than this one. So color's not always your best friend when identifying these. So we'll use these together. We started with talking about the luster whether it was metallic or non-metallic. Then we move to talk about its breakage pattern, whether it had fracture or cleavage. Then we talked about its hardness. So we'll start using all these tools we have here, including our fingernail, trying to figure out how hard the mineral is. A streak plate. All of these things together are useful in eliminating potential choices and guesses, I guess you might say, to identify minerals. Or really, what I'm trying to say more succinctly is all these tools are useful in helping you zero in on the mineral that you have in front of you, which will be your task in class.